On Monday night, the Raptors got some revenge against the Cavaliers team that took them out on I think it was November 26th. A huge third quarter from Maxey Strus led to a disappointing loss for the Toronto Raptors, but they get revenge on a night where they inject some new life, and the storylines are all about these new guys. But guess who's the player of the game, in my opinion, and that had to be Pascal Siakam. So let's talk about the game first, and then we'll talk about Pascal. Eric,
get rid of this first. Hold on a second.
Okay. Oh no, Sherm's going to be heartbroken.
I feel like I see Sherm sometimes when I watch the show, and he's kind of
that's his pet
it's actually
toy.
A little bit too much for me.
Okay, Eric, were you calling the game last night?
I didn't call the game. I did a little pregame and postgame with Sportsnet, but I didn't have the radio call. So
okay, but your impressions from what you saw?
What I saw, and I'll tell you what, I'll counter just for the sake of the show. I'll counter you.
Okay.
Pascal was awesome.
Yep.
Outstanding with the 36.
Yep.
I thought Scottie, if I was handing out, I know we're not doing the chain really as much anymore, which is cool.
If we have it in the budget.
I might be giving a game ball to Scottie Barnes if for no other reason he hit the go-ahead bucket and had one of the best rebounds I've seen in recent memory, certainly this season, one of the best rebounds. I'm talking not just for the Raptors, in the league. That one right there, I mean, he found another level. He jumped in his jump and found another level. And that, to me, sealed the deal right there. So as much as we talked about in the first block, Quickly and RJ and the impact of the new guys, at the end of the day, it came down to the 1-2 punch of Barnes and Siakam that really told the ultimate story and ultimately secured the win.
I think we've seen that type of rebound from him a few times this season. Late clock, he's going to get in there and really late in the game and really just try to go for it, which I love. But I'll touch on Pascal in a second, but I also want to say that RJ Barrett making 2 free throws with 7 seconds to go. Like, shout out to making free throws.
It's been a sore spot
at the end of the game.
Yeah,
like,
it's been a sore spot.
Those are difficult shots to make. You know, you come in here, you're Canadian. The arena's like not loud because it was New Year's Day and it was the quietest arena I've ever heard in my life.
I'll tell you what, though. Let me cut you off for 1 second. Because I wasn't doing radio, I was sitting up in the stands, 117, and the amount of people, at least in the intros, that were shouting out, Saga City, Mississauga, like people were fired up for that.
For sure. And then they went back into sleep mode.
Yeah.
Until midway.
The hangovers kicked in.
I could hear Darko calling out plays from across the arena. Like, no lie. Like, that was crazy yesterday. So let's get a little louder going forward here, guys. But I like
Can't wait to see the comment section, Randy calling out the fans.
Oh, no. They've been calling him out, so get at him, Randy.
Yeah. So RJ Barrett making those free throws. And I just think that what we saw from Pascal was what we were thinking we were going to see from the beginning of the season. And when his game opens up, I'm not saying he has to be the greatest three-point shooter in the league, but when he makes a couple, he made 5 out of 8 yesterday, which is amazing. When he makes a couple, that part of his game opens up completely. The spin cycle, the drives, and obviously having Quickly and RJ, guys that can shoot the ball, allow him to have a little bit more space to do his thing, which is great. But I just love the way Pascal. I'm not going to say it's a quiet 36.
No,
because no 36 is quiet. But this was all within the flow, all within a situation where
he wasn't forcing anything.
Yeah, where he got the ball, he scored efficiently, and I mean this was, I think, his best game of the year when I look at the impact in terms of the points, when he scored his points, and how it didn't disrupt anything. Like, he scored when we needed him, and that's what you need your number one option
First
to do.
game of December, I think, was against the Knicks, if I'm not mistaken. Last 14 games in December, so since like December 1st, he's shooting 41% from 3.
Okay.
So as much as we talk about, and rightfully so, that he's been shooting poorly from the perimeter, well, for 14 games now, he's been shooting over 41%.
And this is more to what he's capable of, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he's 41% is a lot to carry over for a whole season, but so is shooting 22%, which is what he did for the first half, and that's not going to happen. Like, he's way too good of a shooter.
And as Jack says, water finds its level, right? Yeah. So you can't really judge any month stretch because it'll find its true level eventually. But you teased it, Eric. I want to hear your thoughts because we see him playing great basketball right now, and people talk about Pascal Siakam potentially being the next guy to be moved. But with the moves that they've made, do you see a potential jump in his level of play, knowing that now defense is going to press up a bit more. RJ's aggressive, quickly's a shooter. This could change things tremendously for this offense.
I'm gonna give this a little bit of a preface here, because again, I don't want this to sound like it's a dump on the guy that's no longer here. The one hole that I think we would all admit in OG's game was that he didn't really handle the ball as well. And Randy touched on it towards the beginning of the show too, in terms of creating his own shot, getting to the rim, etc. Not that he couldn't, it just wasn't always a strong suit. With two guys that can do that now, and with at least one of them and quickly that also has the range, 100% it opens up the floor that much more. And you have to then, as a defense, respect those guys. So now with two additional weapons on the floor, well, shoot, we can't go over and double team. So yeah, single coverage on Pascal. And the skill set he has to be able to take you down into the post, to bring you left, to bring you right, to step back, the floater, from the perimeter, whatever. He's got so many tools in his bag that I think we take for granted. And even as a fan base, at times you forget, like, oh, how many times was he All-NBA? How many times as an All-Star? Like, this guy is legit. So absolutely I see that he could flourish with this team. Problem is, none of the three of us know. I don't know how many people out there know, but none of the three of us know. Is he here for good?
Yeah.
Or is there another trade cooking? I don't know.
But I think whatever happens, the future looks a lot more palatable for these Toronto Raptors as they move forward. Huge win against the Cavs team, sitting ahead of them in the standings, and it was actually one of the better road teams in the NBA. So with that being said, now it's time to check in with the head coach that's running the whole show, Darko Rajakovic.
You mentioned, talking before the game about the benefit of quickly shooting, and there's a few moments in the first half where you could see that Yak got him for screens up top, and I think he found Yak on a pick and roll for a dunk, and just seems to create a little more room.
Yeah, I think he was pretty timid tonight. It's a new team. Obviously, emotions are running, and he really tried to run the team and set up teammates, and to just to find he will have to find a good balance between it, staying aggressive and scoring, but at the same time making the right decisions. There were two pick and rolls that he ran with Scottie. Scottie was wide open on the roll. He needs to complete those passes, and that's going to be great teaching opportunity for us in video and in the workouts to find a chemistry between the two.
You mentioned before the game that the rotation is going to be a work in progress for a little while. You 7 guys primarily, with Chris's 11 minutes as the 8th guy. Do you have a target in terms of like how many guys you want to be using, or is it sort of going to be a game to game?
It's going to be game to game. We're going to try really to develop the chemistry and between the players, and really try to get to see what lineups work best, who's complementing who. We're learning a lot about this group right now. I do not have my set mind on is it going to be 8, 9, or 10, and I want guys to be ready, and I think it's going to be from night to night. And I think we played 9 guys tonight. Ted came in there and is going to help. We're going to have moments where guys going to come in and play for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and they might be playing off the bench, playing 20 plus minutes.